Hey developers, I'm Janelle, a developer advocate at DataMotion. Welcome to this tutorial where we're focusing on validating our secure message center API using the Insomnia REST Client. Now, our goal at DataMotion is to empower our customers to seamlessly integrate secure data exchange directly into their workflows. By leveraging our APIs and no-code solutions, users can stay within their enterprise applications while delivering a smooth and secure experience to their customers. In this tutorial, we'll walk you through the process of validating the Secure Message Center API and its endpoints. We'll cover setting up a testing environment, navigating DataMotion's Developer Center, and handling both successful and unsuccessful API calls. But first, if you find this content helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech tutorials. All right, before we dive in, make sure you have the following ready. 1. An active DataMotion account, which you'll need to access the Secure Message Center API. 2. The Insomnia REST Client installed on your device. And 3. A solid understanding of the API we're about to test. To learn more about the Secure Message Center API, check out the documentation in DataMotion's Developer Center. This is where we're starting our tutorial. But the links to each of these can be found in the description below. Okay, once you're in DataMotion's Developer Center, you'll see a navigation menu here on the left. It organizes their different APIs, versions, and rate limits. Under the API version section here, you'll find the base URL for making the API calls. In this tutorial, we're testing the Message Center Messaging v3 API, which has two different URLs here. The first URL, v3, is for existing DataMotion customers like myself. If you're a trial member, you'll use the v3 sandbox URL. I recommend copying the URL to your clipboard for easy access when we're testing. Okay, the next stop on our tour of the Developer Center is the Secure Message Center Messaging v3 API section. Here, we'll find the endpoints we'll be testing for various methods of sending and receiving content, as well as organizing your message center. Something important to note is that each of DataMotion's v3 API calls require an access token. So that's the first API we need to validate. By selecting Token and then retrieving Access Token from the menu, you'll find the endpoint, header values, request body, and optional parameters for the API call. I also really encourage you to review the response body format so you know what output to expect when you're making the request. All right, now let's take this information and switch over to Insomnia. First, create a new collection to organize your API calls. Then, click on the plus sign here to create a new post request for the access token. Next, paste the base URL and add the endpoint from the documentation. Then, fill out the JSON body with your credentials. And once you've checked this information is correct, click Send to submit your request. A successful API call will return a 200 status code and provide the access token. I'm going to copy this and paste it somewhere safe so I can easily grab it when I need to authenticate our next API call. All right, now with our access token ready, we can test different endpoints for the Secure Message Center API. Our first stop is the Get Message Summaries API call. So in the Developer Center, navigate to Message and then Get Message Summaries. Here, I'll grab the endpoint, parameter, and review the necessary information needed for making the API call. Then, back in Insomnia, let's create a new GET request. Input your base URL along with the endpoint and parameters from the Developer Center. And then add your access token for authorization in the header of the request. Submit your request, and if all is well, you'll see your messages in the response. Now, during testing, you might run into errors. These usually show up as 400, 401, 403, or 500 responses and indicate potential issues with the request parameter or access token. Let me show you what this might look like. If you come across any errors, it's a good idea to review these elements. And that wraps up our tutorial on testing and validating DataMotion's Secure Message Center API with the Insomnia REST Client. This is just the beginning though. Take these guidelines and apply them to other DataMotion APIs and testing tools like Postman to keep building your API testing skills. Thanks for watching and happy coding!